strike. Locker to Russo on the second of their 3 possessions. Penalty marker is thrown. Dixon has a free play. He's knocked down by Grayson Gunheim after he delivers the football, but the fact that they did not stop everything suggests offside against Washington.
I think they're actually going the other way.
Could be a formation.
Yep, exactly. You got some new pieces in here for Oregon. Remember, they got a lot of injuries at receiver, and with as much as they try to do, they get into and out of a lot of these different formations. They have some of their young people thinking.
Illegal formation, offense, 6-man line, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Mike Bellotti doesn't like that. He says, keep it simple. Listen, we are pounding these guys. We don't need to do everything exotic. We're blowing them so far off the line of scrimmage. Let's get in there. Let's run our option and continue to put the pressure on the purple.
These are 2 of the most disciplined teams in the Pac-10, and that is the first penalty of the afternoon. So a rare long yardage situation for Dixon and the Ducks offense, who he play fakes, and then the pass is broken up by Jordan Reffett. Stewart seemed to be alone on the near side of the field, but the big guy from Moses Lake, the senior, Jordan Reffett, with the knockdown. It's second down at 15.
And Oregon will run more screens than maybe any team in this conference. A nice job of awareness there by Jordan. You see, he's running a line game, and you can feel those offensive linemen and those screen passes. And the defensive lineman, you've got to then get your head up and try to find the screen guy.
Pretty quick for a big guy. He's blocked a couple of field goal attempts this year as well. Dixon runs out of time, and down he goes. Wilson Afoa brings it home with the sack for Washington.
He's had a half sack on the season there. A big play. Whenever you can sack a guy as mobile as Dennis Dixon, you've done your job. And they're a great job of getting into Mark Lewis, the offensive guard. He got right into his face, pushes him away, and turns a little of the momentum and gets this third down that Kent Baer was so desperately looking for.
You mean the 3rd and 21, the 3rd and forever play? Dixon has to run. Chase from the backside, hit by Daniel Teo Nesheim, and that will be it. Nate Williams, the freshman nickelback, also running up in Dixon's face. 4th down at the 36-yard line. That would be a real long field goal. Don't think you can. You got to punt it or go for it. End of the first quarter. Oregon has owned the ball and owned the football game, but Washington showing some signs of life. Ducks by 10 as we head to after Patrick Chung blocked Jared Bowman's punt, giving Oregon great field position. Washington's defense has risen up and has Oregon 4th down and 17 at the Huskies' 36-yard line. Evenson is going to attempt a field goal. This would be 54 yards and by far the longest of his career. Now he's just going to pooch it now as they set up in field goal formation, and actually the spot on the ball favorable. Now as they walk it back up, it appeared they were going to put the Huskies about 8 or 9 yards further back than where we thought it went out. Anyway, Evenson with the pooch. Washington first down. A college football Northwest game break on FSN from Cameron Wong.
Guys, number 25 Michigan taking on Illinois. Under a minute into this game, the juice is loose. Juice Williams to Jacob Willis, 26 yards on the touchdown, 7-0 Illini over number 25 Michigan early in the first. Brian, back to you guys.
So 17 yards after all of that. I guess that's good enough to say, well, they should have kicked the field goal, because obviously then the Huskies would have the ball at the 36-yard line. Here's Lewis Rankin hitting the backfield, gets away. Started to get away from Ed Reed, but Reed held on to Nick Reed held on to the back of Rankin's jersey. And he's brought down in the end for a loss. He's finished off by the big defensive lineman Jeremy Gibbs, playing tackle, moving inside today from end, but Nick Reed, his rush from the other side slowed Rankin down and allowed Gibbs to finish it up. From Husky Stadium in Seattle, college football on FSN. Oregon 17, Washington 7. Ryan Davis brought through it. Brooke Olsen down as Jake Locker operates out of the shotgun on second down and 11. On the option, gets to the outside and is close to the line to gain. It'll be third down and short as he fakes the inside handoff to Rankin and then takes it outside.
And if this looks similar, it's because you've watched Oregon do the same thing. You get in that shotgun, you get to spread, and a nice job there by Anthony Russo to come down and give Jake Locker some of that space. But that first down run, I thought, was a great comparison to watch Oregon's group up front push the line of scrimmage right back into Lewis Rankin's face. Not the lanes, not the space that Jonathan Stewart is seeing. You're seeing the spread offense maybe on steroids with Oregon, with a senior quarterback and a young Husky offense growing into this spread.
Huskies are 0 for 2 on third down. Pressure is picked up and a bullet caught by Cody Ellis right down the middle of the field for the first down. Jeffrey Mayo, the true freshman, free safety in coverage, but a good pass in tight quarters, and Ellis pays it off.
And a nice job there by the group up front, giving Jake some lanes, giving him some space there. You want those defensive linemen away from Jake Locker. If you can give him the same kind of room that Dennis Dixon is getting on the other side, you give now Jake a great opportunity to make some plays.
Ellis, his 4th catch of the season, got away from Mayo, gained that separation that is so critical. If you want to run a quick hitter like that, the inside slant, you need your guys to get open. Locker is hit in the backfield, escapes, and then throws the ball out of bounds. So a smart decision at the end. You wind up not taking a minus play, but there was pressure there. Locker did well to get away with what he got, which is just to dial up another play.
And unfortunate there that he could not come out of here clean because he had his receiver on the outside there on a comeback, buying some time. I think that's smart. So you avoid the hit, which we talked a lot about, that you got to monitor the number of shots that Jake is taking, and you avoid now a second long. Throw it away, live to play another day. I think Tim Lopano, nice and calm. You see it there. He's going down his sheet. Nice and calm. He likes that play. We can do 2nd and 10 a whole lot better than 2nd and 15.
Pressure applied on the previous play by Will Tuquafu, who is getting the start. Gibbs moving inside to tackle, and Tuquafu taking Gibbs' place at defensive end. So a couple of small guys on the edge, and Russo did not turn to look for that ball. He was well covered downfield by Thurman. 3rd down and 10.
One thing that jumps out when you look at this Oregon defense, their 2 leading tacklers are their safeties. Their 2 leading tacklers are their free and strong safeties. They're very, very active. That last look you get in the spread, Oregon will still stack that box. They like their corners. They like the athleticism they have. They trust those guys in one-on-one situations. You will see time and again Oregon load the box, and these safeties make a lot of tackles.
Play fake. The blitz comes from the edge. Locker running away in heavy traffic, looking for some kind of an advantage. And as he is brought down by Matthew Harper, the free safety, he flings the ball to the sideline. He's outside the framework of the tackles. Great work by Harper, just as good as a sack. It's 4th down.
You see the referees here. I don't know what they're marking. I think they're going to mark that actually, Brian, as a sack. They put the ball back all the way to the 21-yard line. A great job. These safeties we just mentioned are very active guys. They like to come up. They like to tackle. And again, I reference they play against a very athletic quarterback all spring long against Dennis Dixon. They have a feel for those quarterbacks in space, maybe more than other defenses do.
Bowman gets a good bounce inside the 40-yard line, and it's going to be downed at the 33. So Jake Locker suddenly seeing a little bit more white in his grill as Oregon dials up the defensive pressure. Ducks ball with a 10-point lead. Dennis Dixon has found 5 different receivers as the Ducks have run up and down the field to a 17-7 lead 3 minutes into the 2nd quarter in Seattle.
You just see the patience he plays with. Never panics, never in a rush, eyes down the field, always ready and willing to make that play. Just a dynamic athlete at quarterback.
Stewart takes the option pitch. He's hemmed in. Mesfin Forrester is the first 2, but Forrester also had some help as they run the play to the boundary. Dan Howell also in the neighborhood, and again, they bottle him up. No gain for Stewart.
And And that's how you play the option. If you're Kent Baer on the sidelines trying to figure this group out, it's everyone has an assignment to play. You see every body on a body there. No one trying to do someone else's job. No one getting out of their gap. Every linebacker accounting for their guy. That's the only way you stop this option offense.
Darren Willingham said we are 5 or 6 plays a game away from good things happening. And Dixon, a rare mistiming with his receiver Ed Dixon, the wide receiver masquerading as a tight end, streaking downfield, incomplete. But Willingham says we can't drop our heads. Washington's defense has not.
And what you're seeing a little bit better here out of the purple guys is they're starting to get in his face just a little bit, just those little hits. Get around his legs, make him feel your presence. We talk about the space, close that window, make Dennis Dixon feel your presence there. That 70% accuracy will start to dip.
He hit 9 of his first 10 passes. He's missed his last 4, and through the hands of the receiver Williams, who gets a bump from Roy Lewis. He wasn't anywhere near the sticks.
And again, Dennis Dixon knocked on the ground, getting some push on this Oregon offensive line, critical to the success of the Huskies, and a drop to boot. Not the way that Mike Bellotti wants to respond to a little of the momentum that's starting to turn here in Husky Stadium.
Bellotti pleased with the way that his team came out of the bye week after a tough loss to Cal, but they destroyed Washington State last week at Autzen Stadium. For the first time today, we're seeing Josh Shirey out of Wenatchee, Washington, kicking away to Russo, steps through a man and gets almost 15 yards out of that. Russo, suddenly one of the best punt return men in the Pac-10, ranking second individually at 10 yards per, and little second effort gets the Huskies better field position.
And you want to see him start to get the ball. He's going to have opportunities here. You're seeing Oregon very clearly say, listen, we're going to draw a line in the dirt. We are going to load the box, and you've got to beat us in one-on-one. The last 2 drives, there's been a comeback, a go-route, opportunities one-on-one. The Huskies aren't connecting. Expect to see more of that. Expect to see more of the same. Oregon trusting these corners. Anthony Russo, Marcel Reese having to make plays one-on-one.
How badly, though, do they need to get some tempo in the running game? Lewis Rankin last week, 80 yards at Arizona State. The previous 4 games, he averaged 42. Locker going to throw it. Nice catches made as he just finds a little seam. The crossing route, the tight end, Michael Gottlieb. And again, a little bit of separation from the linebacker, John Bacon. Good things happening in the moment for Tim Lopano and the Washington offense.
You ask about tempo there. How do you establish tempo offensively? You could do it a number of ways. I think the best way is to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands and get easy completions. Tim Lopano said the same thing to us. Our quick passing game has to neutralize some of Oregon's aggressiveness.
Only the 10th completion of the season to a Washington tight end, and Paul Homer, the fullback, gets the call on second and middle distance, gains 4, 3rd down and 1.
Exactly the same recipe you see on the other side with Oregon. If you're going to run this spread, and the Huskies do a little bit of it, Oregon does it full time. It's what they do. It's their identity right now. They've grown into that identity with an offensive coordinator and a senior quarterback. The Huskies still trying to figure this out a little bit. You'll see more hodgepodge, but when they do that spread, you have to keep the defense honest. That means sometimes you have to pound that big fullback in the middle of the line.
Rankin leaves. Washington goes with 2 tight ends and the fullback on 3rd and short. Locker to keep. Sets up Thurman. Dives forward for the first down near midfield.
Getting Jake Locker in space, much like Oregon wants to do with Dennis Dixon. Get him out of the pocket. He's going to win every opportunity. He is impossible to bring down with one guy. There you make the Oregon's 3rd leading tackler. Thurman missed there. You get the shoulders down, and you get the big first down.
Today's 1st and 10 marker brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. Oregon defensively does give up a lot of yards, allows 140 rushing yards a game, 392 total. Locker in trouble, but escapes. And then the Ducks defense closing, but not closing well enough. And Locker all the way down inside the 40-yard line, the 45-yard line. Out of all of that, he gets 9 when he should have been dead back there, 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
And defensive coordinator for the Oregon Ducks, Nick Aliotti, decides on first down, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to bring my veteran safety, Patrick Chung, there. He comes free. And again, speaking to the athleticism of Jake Locker to make a guy coming free. He sees it the last second. He spins. He buys time. He's got incredible ability to use those special legs and feet of his to get 9 yards there on first down. Turning a negative into a positive.
Chicken salad out of chicken something else. Here's Rankin, stutter stepping, finds a gap up the middle, inside the 30-yard line. First down, Washington. 15 yards for Louis Rankin. That may be the best run of his life against Oregon, against the Ducks in 3 previous games. 30 carries, 105 yards.
Getting those pads down, and you see the Washington group there, a little better effort. Nick Reed in the backfield. Louis Rankin being able to make him miss. This is a run game. Louis Rankin, Jake Locker, they have got to make one guy miss. They're not quite at the level yet where they're going to get everybody blocked. If they're going to make plays, they've got to make one guy miss.
Homer leading Rankin, and Rankin straight up the gut, hitting the hole, committing to the run. Louis Rankin has stutter stepped, has shown us moves that are better at the club than on a football field, but here on his 3rd touch of the afternoon, looks like he's ready to go get it north-south.
And Tim Lopano, offensive coordinator, an old running back, and he doesn't mind the cloud of dust there. You throw a blanket over everybody, and we're going to push the pile 3, 4 yards. You start to wear down. This is not an enormous front 7. This is, in fact, a small, as far as their linebackers go, maybe one of the smaller front 7s in the Pac-10. You've got to put pressure on them. You've got to sometimes simply push the pile.
Locker from the shotgun. Russo in the slot to the near side. Marcel Reese all the way out to the left side and into the end zone. The timing route, the catch of the floater from Locker, touchdown.
Great throw, great catch, but how about Louis Rankin sticking his nose up here? Oregon brings the blitz again. Louis Rankin sticks his nose in the linebacker's chest, gives that one-on-one opportunity. Nick Aliotti scared of Marcel Reese, trusting his corners. I don't know how much more one-on-one you're going to see. That's twice now in one-on-one matchups. The Husky receivers getting it done.
Ryan Perkins with the extra point. Reese with his 4th touchdown of the year. Locker has thrown for 2. He's got 9 on the season, and these Huskies are not going away mid-second quarter in the doghouse in Seattle. Marcel Reese, the Huskies' leading receiver, a 26-yard touchdown catch from Locker, who has 125 yards passing, 109 of them on his touchdown strikes. The other an 83-yarder to Anthony Russo.
Their margin of error, these Husky coaches talk about it a lot. Their margin of error is not very big. It's quite fine. They've got to do everything right. But when you have a quarterback, and you got 2 on display tonight, both guys that can improvise, both guys that can make dynamic, athletic plays with their feet, they can make the people around them that much better. And when they get help, when Louis Rankin blocks, when he gets a 12, 15-yard run, it makes him, just like Jonathan Stewart makes Dennis Dixon look awfully good.
This time they go away from Jonathan Stewart. Andy O'Brown gets the call. Penalty marker is thrown at the 20-yard line. About the place where Brown got his first block as he brought it diagonally across the field. And the preliminary indication is another penalty against the Ducks. Chris Stevens with the play on the ball carrier.
Holding number 46 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
What's fascinating about this offense when you look at them and their 33 touchdowns this season, 12 of those 33 touchdowns have come on drives less than 60 seconds. 12 of 33. Today, that's not been the case. They've moved the ball. They've gone the long field. But if you're a Husky defense, this is what you want to do. You want to make them go 90 yards.
9 more of those have come between 61 seconds and 120. And that ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. Jordan Reffett again tipped a pass earlier to help stop An Oregon drive, and Reffett, the senior out of Moses Lake, playing huge. Dixon has misfired now on his last 6 passes.
You're going to see an Oregon offensive line that likes to cut. They like to get down on those defensive lineman knees. That's a veteran guy from Moses Lake saying, you can't cut me. You go ahead and try. I'm going to pop up. I'm going to respond and get my big mitt on that ball.
Well, and that's the key. You get knocked down, you got to get back up, and that's what Randy Hart was telling his guys all week in practice. The Huskies veteran defensive line coach. Here's Stewart wrapped up in the backfield and dropped. No, Dixon once again with tremendous play fake, play action ability. And Stewart selling the fake, the inside handoff, and Dixon escaping to the far side. Would you please hand me my binoculars?
It takes great patience to keep that ball in that fullback's belly, to make that defense attract, go to that running back, and then at the last second, tuck it out. Again, a veteran quarterback having the patience, having that clock in his head to really sell that fake.
Dixon finds Jason Williams on the near side of the field. Williams, the Ducks' leading receiver, with another first down, a 13-yard play after the 15-yard keeper by Dixon. And now the Ducks, a veteran team, 1 loss. Cal lost again today. This is a team that is right in the hunt for a Pac-10 championship. A lot of people nationally think that Oregon may be the best team in the Pac-10, regardless of current records or rankings, and what composure they're showing here. Stewart stiff-arming, runs right past Roy Lewis and down the sideline. Knocked out of bounds by Dan Howell, but a missed tackle and a good block downfield, and Stewart is deep into Washington territory.
You said a missed tackle. I think there were more than a missed tackle. And that's the pressure. Kent Baer talked about this defense playing in spurts. They do a nice job in spurts, but the concentration and the focus every single play. There you see Roy Lewis. He has a chance to limit that to a 2-yard run. He's in position to make the play. They have to make that play if you're on the Washington defense. You got to play every snap, every single play. That's what's really hurt this team this year. Their focus, play in, play out, drive in, and drive out.
You're going to take a look at the spot. Stewart with another good run. This would be 28 yards, and it would give him 124. At 159 against Washington last year.
And that's part of that offense. It forces you to play every play. It forces you to think. It forces you for your responsibility. And again, you see the big receivers down the field blocking. You see the body. Look at those legs churning. Just the athleticism. And that's close. I don't know if I see anything there to turn that over. That's awfully close. That's twice now we've seen the Nike swoosh awfully close to the sidelines. But the body control. He has an NFL body. I look at that body. That guy looks like he's ready to play on Sundays right now.
Now look at Darren Harris. Gets him by the collar. Jason Stewart, rather Williams with the block for Stewart downfield. Harris collared him. But the ruling is that Stewart is able to stay in bounds, so that does stand as a 28-yard rushing play.
And that takes incredible body control to be able to do that, be running full speed, be getting knocked around, avoiding tacklers, avoiding blocks, and still to have those strength. When you've got legs like he has, with the strength that he has, that is simply NFL written all over it.
Dixon and the Ducks have faced adversity before. Here's Williams on the inside slant. Great play fake. E.J. Savannah finally finishes as Williams is surrounded by a squadron of Washington defenders. And the Ducks with another big chunky yardage to a first down at the 12-yard line. That is a 22-yard play.
The big plays continue to stack up, continue to hurt this defense, but credit Dennis Dixon. His play actions in both the run and the pass just been dominant.
Here's Stewart around the corner to the end zone, touchdown. So easy, so fluid. Jonathan Stewart so well blocked.
Roy Lewis and these linebackers having a hard time responding to all these play fakes. And again, watch the offensive lineman pull out a great block on Donald Butler. Message Forster not coming up with the speed and filling because he's having to think. All of those play actions, all of those fakes, they start to add up and they make life as a defense so difficult to attack.
against Stanford, the Ducks turned the ball over a bunch in the first half and found themselves down. Oregon's players and coaches talk about how that really did help them because they know what they're doing. They know how to come back. AT&T customers, time to shuffle for your chance to win a new Samsung Blackjack. Where do you think the globe ends up? Text in A, B, or C to 443 for official rules and alternate form of entry. Go to foxsports.com/Northwest. The AT&T Shuffle. The answer to our AT&T Blackjack Shuffle is C. Thanks for playing. Brock Huard, Brooke Olsen, Dan Brian Davis at Husky Stadium in Seattle, where Oregon has run 7 plays over 15 yards. The way that they set up this offense, how can you even practice for something like this?
Awfully difficult to simulate. That's part of why they do it, because it's awfully hard to, in a short week of practice, to try to figure out all these formations, all these movements, all these options, all these motions. Awfully difficult. It gets a defense on their heels.
Rankin is doing a nice job after being hemmed into a corner, coming back and gaining positive yardage, but a couple of penalty markers flying as he is brought down across the 25-yard line. Illegal block in the back. Larry Farina with the preliminary and now the official.
Illegal block in the back on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
That's Washington's first penalty of the day. A triple option. Nobody else runs this. So how do you account for it in practice?
It's one guy. When the Huskies have defended this well, every guy has their responsibility. And I hate to single out and point out just one guy, but that 2nd and 10, Oregon has the ball at the 10-yard line. 2nd and 10, that's one linebacker, that's one safety. That is your guy. You cannot buy in and try to play the other responsibilities. Let everybody take care of their own responsibility. The minute you start trying to do someone else's job, you're going to give up one of those 15-plus yard plays.
2 tight ends. Anthony Russo gets a block from Reese on the edge, is brought down by Thurman. Russo with a middle distance gain. Give him 6 on first down. Gets him out across the 20-yard line. Anthony Russo, the first Husky receiver with more than 1 catch today. His first one with a big one, of course, 83 yards to put the Huskies on the board after Oregon had gone out quickly to a 14-0 lead. On the spot, they'll give him 7. Locker will keep, and he is dead to rights in the backfield. Has to hit the brakes. David Fatete is there to force Locker to change directions, and he does so right into the waiting arms of Bear. Brandon Bear, the redshirt freshman out of St. Anthony, Idaho. Hello.
Yeah, and a nice job there by David to get up the field. I like, having watched him on film, you get those 300-pounders in the middle of the line, and when they can separate like that, when they can get up the field, not just hold their ground, but get up the field, boy, you're really adding a bonus to your defense, and he is a very, very active 300-pounder.
So the loss of 5, 3rd and long. Here comes the blitz. Locker is hammered, and the ball just squirting to the far side of the field as he is sandwiched as he releases the ball. Kenny Rowe, who out of 4 tackles he's made this year, 3 have been quarterback sacks, and he came very close to another one. And Kwame Ajiman was also right there.
That was one of the red flag alerts for Jake Locker heading into this game. When Oregon gets into what they call that odd front, that 3-down front, you better expect some pressure. It makes life awfully difficult on those running backs, on those linemen to figure it out. There they couldn't figure it out. Jake takes yet another shot.
Jarris Bird was the first guy to him. We called 2 names. There's another guy on the bottom of that pile, so they brought the house. Punt bounces out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. So Oregon 1st and 10. We remind you, college football to you by Banner Bank. Better ideas, better banking. And by Tire Factory. Always the right tire, always the right price. Trust what you love to Tire Factory. 47-yard punt for Jared Bowman to the Oregon 34-yard line. Dennis Dixon, 11 of 18, 132 yards. He has passed for a touchdown. He's also run every game this season for a touchdown. Hasn't done that yet, but obviously 4 minutes and change remaining in the first half. There's a lot of time. Dixon hemmed in and then gets away. Lots of room. Look at him set up Meston Forrester. And then take another 5 yards before he's brought down right in the middle of the field.
That looked awfully eerily familiar to last year. Some of the highlights we were showing in that Husky game. There you see Jordan Redfoot, a chance there to keep the contain. You got to know where your help is around you. You can't be so aggressive against an athlete like Dennis Dixon that you give him that much room to run.
24 yards, 8 plays now of 15 or more. And just like that, the Ducks are back in Washington territory. Dixon fumbles the football. Dan Howell has a chance, and then it is covered up. The Ducks dodging a bullet as Pflugrad, the freshman, saves Dixon's bacon. Fumbling the football was a problem last year for Dixon. That's why they cut down on the number of times they ask him to carry the ball.
Credit Daniel Deje on the shine there for getting his hand in here. He's been very active on that defensive line, getting up the field, actually gets his hand in there, and fortunate because, again, Oregon has a 2-on-1 out in space. If he doesn't get his hand in, you're going to see another big chunk of yards.
Couple of yards loss. And Dixon will take time. Last year, the Ducks finished negative on the plus-minus table, and there were 13 fumbles just like that, 13 of their own fumbles that they recovered. So you're slowing yourself down. Even though you get the ball back, that still robs you of that rhythm and the tempo that has helped Oregon establish this 10-point lead.
Absolutely. 15 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions coming into this game for Dennis, and they're taking care of the football. You can't put up 45 points a game, 530 yards a game, be as dominant as they are if you're careless with the football. So there, Dennis a little frustrated because he knows if he protects the ball, yet again, he's in a 2-and-1 situation.
Washington in the run game a little bit better than they were last year when they only amassed 13 yards. Amassed is not even the right word. They only got 13 yards, but 31 is not going to cut it either when you're down 10 to a team that averages 45 points a game. Washington defensively allowing 28 a game. That's 8th in the Pac-10. Ducks in one half are nearly there. Stewart with the carry, spinning out of one tackle into the arms of a couple more defenders right down the gut. But Stewart, Oregon averaging about 7 yards a play, gets about that on the carry. It's 3rd and short.
You just can't speak to the athleticism of this group up front. I think perennially, you talk to Ken Bear, and he would say Oregon has always had the skilled athletes. They've always had the receivers, the tight ends, the running backs. This group up front, this offensive line is athletic as any Oregon offensive line. Just watch them move.
Dixon, the pass is nearly intercepted by Butler, who flashed in front of the tight end, Ed Dixon, and knocks it down. This is 4th down. We noticed Daniel Teo Nesheim has been the guy to engage Stewart even on the fake plays. They've been running Stewart fairly consistently to the strong side where the tight end lines up.
And there you see that 3rd down that Ken Bear was hoping to get to. That's the only way. It's logical, obviously, because if you stop 3rd down, you force field goals. But just getting this Oregon offense to 3rd downs where you have a chance to have some success.
Evenson from 53 yards. That would have been a career long, and he doesn't quite get there. It's short. After all of that, well, Washington, the fumble interrupts Oregon's offensive momentum. The Huskies defense does a few things good. They got the ball back. On 1st down, Jake Locker. They moved the pocket. Locker heating one downfield. Anthony Russo, the intended receiver, locked up with Jairus Byrd. And Byrd is going to be flagged for pass interference.
Quite a shot that Jake took when he released that football. Credit Oregon. They do what they do, both offensively and defensively. They do what they do well, and they're going to continue to be aggressive defensively.
Now hold the phone on the DPI because there was also, roughing the passer, ×2 against the Ducks. There was the penalty marker in the backfield.
And how about kicking a How about kicking a 53-yard field goal? And there you see the pass defense just losing sight of the ball, and that's all that one-on-one that they play, losing track of the football. And the shot to the head there, that's a gimme. That is anytime you hit any quarterback, high school, college, or pro in the head, that's a penalty. But to get back to my last point there, how about going for a 53-yard field goal with just 2 minutes to play? Really rolling the dice here for Oregon. You're feeling pretty good about yourselves because you now open up the opportunity, open up the field position for the Huskies to make something happen here before half.
The guy who clocked Locker was Matthew Harper, who had a big sack earlier. Rankin to the outside. 2 defenders fall, and Rankin has room. Patrick Chung catches up to him as Rankin puts on the brakes. Had he stayed with the play, might have gotten something with Marcel Reese blocking the cornerback 5 yards further downfield. Don't complain, however. A big play for Rankin, first down for Washington.
And how about Marcel Reese? And how about your fullback there, Paul Homer? How about all the guys getting active, getting into those white shirts, giving Louis Rankin some space? We've talked about space all game long in this game, in college football. And when you can give these kind of dynamic athletes a chance in space, they can make the play.
23 yards. Rankin, 4 carries, 42 yards. That was his per-game average for the 4 games before Arizona State last year. Homer with a big block for Locker. Hauled down inside the 10-yard line. First and goal, Huskies.
And as much as Tim Lipano wants to try to protect his hits and guard against him taking too many shots, you got to put the ball in his hands. He is your playmaker. Again, Paul Homer, back-to-back plays, getting his helmet into the Oregon. Look at that. Look at him snap the safety's helmet there. Getting into these Oregon guys, you've got to put the ball. I don't care how many hits he takes. Make that ice bath just a little bit colder because that kind of athlete needs the ball in his hands.
Locker needs time. Homer is on the field, would be on the play they had called. Sophomore out of Omaha.
And I like Homer. I like Homer. You know why I like him, Brian?
He's old school.
He's old school, but he makes that guy better. He makes that guy and Louis Rankin behind him better. He reminds me a lot of the guy that just retired for the Seattle Seahawks, a guy named Max Strong. Not the most dynamic athlete.